So we're driving down the road, and then there's one sign that says world famous Cuban sandwiches, and then the other one is just like Cuban sandwiches.
It reminds me of that scene in Elf where it's like world's best coffee,
yes.
and he takes her to the coffee. She's like, it tastes like a crappy cup of coffee. It's all in the wording. It's the marketing piece.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of the Monarch Social Podcast, where we talk about all things digital media marketing in hopes to bring the viewers at home a glimpse inside this digital media marketing world that we live in. Today, I'm super excited to have my two guests here. We have Ben Pierce, Erin Cotter, with the world famous Yum Yum food truck. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having us, Morgan.
Yes.
You're awesome.
So for a while, Erin, me and you have kind of talked back and forth, and I know that's been a second to try to get you guys on the podcast, and so
I know.
I appreciate your patience. We've been running around here crazy. It's been a crazy summer, but tell us about your guys' summer, and tell us about your food truck. Who wants to start?
You start, Ben. You tell us how the summer season went.
Yeah, how'd your summer season go?
Summer is still going. We're still pretty busy. We actually just took this week off because we've been working pretty nonstop. Sometimes 2 places at once. And as soon as we get back, we get off the plane and we're back to work again.
I feel that. So let's take a step back. How did you guys get involved in the food truck industry? How did you guys start? When did you start?
He's been here in Salt Lake for so many years already, doing summer festivals every year, doing Filipino food at the summer festivals, right?
And you're from the Philippines?
Yeah.
You're from the Philippines. Awesome.
Yeah, so we pitched a tent, and started cooking that way.
Yeah.
It's just been hard. And then since I got a girl that's always, it was like a entrepreneur mind,
The brains behind the operation.
Yeah, I was just why don't we just make a truck?
Simplify, because my mom is like, she's getting older. So now it's just basically just us running everything. So she doesn't have to go there and cook in the hot heat, and things like that.
Yeah, how did you get started with, you're the chef, it sounds like you're kind of the operations maybe and promoter.
I do like promotion and stuff and social media and whatever I can.
So I don't do those kind of things. I post on Facebook where I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
And it's just say, hey, we're gonna be here.
There's a lot of companies that have started out that way. Like the one that comes to mind is like Cup Up. Like they started out as like that food truck, and then they have like an inline store now and everything. But so tell us about, how did you start? Like, when did you start cooking? Have you always been in the food industry?
Yeah.
What's your story there?
So in the Philippines, as a male, you don't really cook, so you have the ladies cook. But since, I came here at a younger age, so I had a family earlier. So, I have to learn how to cook because females here don't really cook as much, and they're cooking, So I have to learn, and also I watch my mom and things like that, how she cooks, and then she tells me, it's pretty basic, really, cooking Filipino food. You saute garlic, onions. That's your base.
Oh, it's like my love language, sauteing garlic and onions, right?
Oh, I know, right?
Like that smell alone will get me.
It does.
Just
smells
whatever
so
meat,
good.
whatever sauce you will try to put in there, that just makes it different,
So when did you go from just cooking to saying, hey, like, let's start a food truck? What was that conversation like?
Yeah, that was like, we were looking for something that would be like full-time. Instead of doing before, he had another full-time job, and then he would do the festivals in the summer too. So in addition, but we wanted to do it full-time, like, because I used to work in a food truck in Georgia that was like, I used to work in I had this one summer where I like ran away and worked at the carnival.
You were a carny? We have a carny on the podcast, everyone.
Carny for like a
runaway carny.
Yeah, I was like, I was like staying at my godmother's house, and she was really mean to me. So I was like,
oh my God, this is a Disney movie.
I was staying
at my godmother's house.
She was like the evil godmother. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run away, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go work at the carnival, but it started with like setting up the rides, but then it just turned into working in their food truck. And then it was just like, we would go to Walmart and I was just like telling Ben about it. Cause we were talking about, he had thought about doing a food truck. And then I was telling him like, yeah, it was really great. We just like, go get the batter and then we make funnel cakes. And I mean, it was like really fast, but I didn't get paid anything. I mean, got paid like
pennies.
It was like nothing. And I told my friend about it later and he was like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, yeah. But, it was like a kid. It was summer. And I was like, but I could tell that the guy who was doing it was making a lot of money. Even if I wasn't, So I was like, well, that's a great idea. So
he's doing the summer festivals. You have that background as a runaway carny, and you were like, "Hey, let's do this like more full time, more year round." And we said, "Okay, let's do a food truck."
Yeah. Plus, I lost my job. Well, I didn't lose my job. I decided not to work anymore.
You were like, "Screw this."
Yeah, that was pretty much what it was.
Every entrepreneur has that moment.
He called me one day and he was like, "I'm not doing this anymore."
Yeah, I feel like every entrepreneur has that moment. When you guys were at the let's say like the summer festivals or those events, was it called the Yum Yum Food?
No, we used to be called Best Asian Gourmet.
Best Asian Gourmet.
Yeah.
And then when you started the food truck, it became world famous Yum Yum.
Right. Yeah. So initially it was Yum Yum Food Truck,
right.
And then we flew to Miami together in COVID because I told him like, look, I'm losing my mind. It's COVID. I'm not sitting in your house anymore. I'm getting on a flight to Miami tomorrow. You can come if you want. And he was like, okay, I'm coming. I'll go with you. So we went to Miami and like just needed to get away. And there was, when you first get to Miami, there's like the Cuban sandwiches.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Right. So
that's probably responsible for like 20 pounds of my weight right now.
They're so good. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So that was like our first, we're sitting there and we're like, which one do we want to go to? And I think you said
the world famous.
Yeah,
the world famous one. So I said,
look at that, the branding.
Right.
What year was it that you guys started the food truck? Was that 2020? Did I see?
I think so.
Around that time.
2022 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about
2 years.
August.
I've talked to a lot of food truck owners, and this answer always interests me because I think it's always kind of different. But how do you guys choose, like when you decided to start the food truck, how do you guys choose your spots that you go to? Like, how do you know where the people are? How do you know where to go choose?
That's really all him.
Yeah, well, so I try to be helpful to all the new food truckers now because I had that. It was very hard in the beginning, going up to businesses and asking them if you could, park in their parking lot and sell. And not even that, if you do find a location, you still got to bring the people in there. Is there enough foot traffic and things like that? You
got to be like your own hype man to get the crowds there.
Right, and I'm not really good at the online marketing things, that Erin does.
I know a guy.
More.
I'm sure. That's
right,
But I fought for a long time not to join the food truck league, and I belong to them now, and they send me so many.
What's the food truck league? So I've never heard of that.
So it's basically a company that sends food trucks to places for lunch, for dinner, events, and things like that. But you do take 10%.
Oh, so they take a 10% cut of what you make, and then they kind of promote you guys and tell or send you to certain places. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's certain events and certain businesses, and then they might have like the nice thing about their events is sometimes they have like minimums, so you are guaranteed a certain amount of money.
But sometimes you don't have a minimum where you post up. Like us, we're from Layton, and we'll go all the way to Draper and make $200.
It's like not worth it, especially with gas prices right now.
Gas prices and propane and labor,
And that really is the hard part because you never really know exactly how busy an event will be. Like I swear we showed up at concert before and they were like, just give the band free food. And that was pretty much what we showed up to do.
Yeah.
Was just give the
free
band
food.
But
free
for
food
now-
because
No one
there were
else.
no one, like everybody had already eaten, I guess. But so that's like frustrating.
But I think now, since we've been in business for 2 years now, and you know we got a lot of online,
Like a following or
Yeah.
online presence.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, so we're not just getting those text messages. You know, we get emails and things like that. But
Yeah, that's very
we do
rare
get
now.
a lot of requests from companies, schools, organizations to come over and you know serve for them and things like that.
Well, in the 2 years that you guys have been doing your food truck, where's your guys' like favorite location or your best location that you guys just hit it? Like, what's been the most profitable for you guys, like location wise?
Big festivals, right?
Like
Yeah.
usually the Asian festivals are really big for us. Filipino Heritage Days, it's just like the 4th of July, you know, of the Philippines.
Where are those at? When is those? I don't know about those
June
festivals.
12,
Yeah, we
around
have-
June 12, whatever the weekend is.
Where did they have that at?
Usually in
The
Salt
state
Lake.
fair.
Oh,
I
at the
think
state
usually
fair.
State
Pretty
Fair
close to the
Parkway.
state fair.
Awesome.
And yeah, sometimes they do it at the state fair. Sometimes they just pick a park to put everybody in. But there's different ones. There's different organizations and things like that. I think there's like 3 Phil-Ams, Filipino American Associations here in Utah. And then we got that Asian Chamber of Commerce.
Sounds like there's a lot of resources for the Asian culture here in Salt Lake, where there's a lot of that to help you guys grow and everything. How's that been?
Yeah, it's been great. I feel like more marketing for each event would be awesome.
How are you
know?
guys currently?
But the Asian events are usually very busy, but sometimes regular events can be a little slower.
How do you guys currently market right now? Like, what's your best form of marketing that you see that you guys see has like the biggest impact for you guys?
So it's summertime, so we haven't been really marketing because we could barely, we're like struggling prepping and, rolling lumpias and things like that. So we're barely staying afloat as it is already. And we're so busy right now. But come winter time, that's when, you actually need that extra push of people to come.
Yeah.
come in.
Our best form of marketing too has always been the news. A lot of
yeah.
people really discount like podcasts and news and actual real old school methods of
Traditional marketing.
and I feel like so many people discount that, but really, like, if we have a lot of news contacts and we will tell them, if we have an event or like any opportunity that we have, if they invite us to go to a news show, I mean, always want to take those events. We've been on the news a couple times and those always really...
And that was Good Morning Utah?
Yeah.
Is that the one that I saw you guys on?
Yeah, there was Good
Or
Things Utah.
Good Things Utah.
And then we did a Fox, we've done a lot on Fox 4. We've done a lot with ABC. Yeah, so the most recent one was what was the name of that event? Where we were...
That was the Asian festival.
The Asian
Oh, no, the
Fest.
Face-Off.
No,
Food
it was
truck
the food
face-off.
truck face-off.
Ooh, the food truck face-off. Was that at
Yeah.
that was here at the park?
Yes, and that was so big. Did you go to that one?
I did, Koa. I invited my buddy over there, Koa behind the camera, and I didn't hear from him. So I went by my lonesome.
Yes, it was so big. But
I didn't stay long. I went there. There was a lot of people, and there was just food trucks, and I was like, okay, you've seen one, you've seen them all, like you walk through like 5 of them, and I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. Bye.
And the lines were so long for that event. I mean, it was a long event, and it was like so many lines. Like, I wanted to go, get food somewhere else, and it was like the line was super long. A lot of people don't understand that about food trucks, is that you've got a line. Yeah, you've got a line that's longer than what a regular restaurant has. I mean, a regular restaurant doesn't go through that many people on the lunch or whatever usually, but they have twice the size, twice the crew, and the food truck's like over 100 degrees with a little space, and then everybody will just wait in line and then get upset. And I'm like, go enjoy the festival. Come back.
Come back.
Like, don't
There's
freak
so many
out.
people.
There's
Just
things to
have
do.
patience.
Yeah.
Dude, but when you're hungry though, you get
I know,
you get
right?
hangry
You get-
and you just want to like yell at people and stuff. Man, I get.
Well, we
hangry all
kind
the
of
time.
figured it out already. So we usually take their orders, like they're in the window, take their orders, send them out so that way they could enjoy the festivities and everything else. So we figured that they don't complain when they're in a line, but they complain if they already ordered and they haven't been getting their food yet.
So yeah, so if they're in line, they're chill, but they want their food quick.
Right. So
that's the problem.
So
with the food.
we can take 10 orders, get them out, take 10 orders, get them out. That way they're not waiting after the order.
When you have those big lines and stuff like that, are you the only cook in the food truck, or is there multiple of you cooking at the same time?
Well, I really do not like anybody close to me when I'm cooking.
It's your kitchen.
Right,
He gets
right.
mad
'Cause
at
I
me.
don't- Yeah,
No.
like you can prepare some stuff after I,
Yeah.
like put the garnishes and things like that. That's okay, but like trying to reach in and trying to make something else, like
I'm probably the only person he would let do that.
Oh.
Because I'll go in there and I'll start making something really fast, but no one else
know
does.
already when my eyebrows goes up that they just go back to their spot real quick, because I'm about to be like,
Get out of here. Get out of my kitchen. What's your guys' favorite part of owning a business? Is it the actual cooking for you? Is it in the trenches of entrepreneurship? Like, what's your favorite part of owning a food truck?
Not a lot of people think that, like everybody hits me up all the time, I'm thinking about this food truck. What I tell them is, pick a menu that's more simple. Then you might enjoy it more. Like I go to events, I go to concerts, we'd serve at a concert, like the Hive Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Those tickets were like $6.75 for the VIP tickets, So my kids, we don't get to enjoy the event. You're just there serving, you know what I mean? And the prep that you do is so much. There's so much things going on, to see like people handing you money, but you don't understand, you still got to pay for food, for labor.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
You're working 100 degrees, you're
Yeah.
sweat,
Especially when you're frying stuff and,
Yeah.
you're like a hot food truck, because I know there's cold food trucks, but with a hot one, like that kitchen has to get hot, especially like when you're...
Yeah.
hotter inside than it is outside.
Exactly, because like you're in the middle of the summer at a festival or an event, and you're just
Yeah.
cooking in there.
Yeah.
I
You guys are stronger than I
I just
am.
want to, go outside and like,
Take
watch the show, for a minute.
There's no rest. There's no rest for
Yeah.
us.
We're still
It's
trying
true.
to figure it out.
Why do we
like
put
all those
ourselves
things.
through it? That
The
is the
freedom.
question. I think that's
Absolutely.
and that's true.
That's the
Absolutely.
freedom. That's why we do it. Me and Co have had this conversation so many times of why are we doing this? And it's like, oh yeah, the freedom. Like
It's true, because then you could just take off when you want. You don't have to ask, you can say, I'm going to go, well, not all, you can't really always take off. Obviously, you have obligations.
Responsibilities.
You have to meet, still. People that think that business owners don't have any responsibility, obviously, are not going to run a good business.
yeah.
One thing for
But-
me though is, like for Filipino food, also, especially here in Utah, is very underrated. Like
Sure.
not a lot of people knows. Like even we're in that truck, and then there's a big sign that says Filipino food, and then they're like, "What do you sell?" We got rice balls, we got this. And they're like, "Oh, so you're selling Korean food or you're selling Chinese food?"
And you're like, no, damn it.
It's Filipino food.
It's Filipino food.
Yeah. So we used to say, we're sharing our culture one bowl at a time. You know what I mean?
I like that. Sharing our culture one bowl at a time.
Yeah.
I like
When
that.
we were slower, like literally, like I'm in the window, I'll make their food, and I'll be in the window, and I will be talking to people,
Like educating them and
or just BSing,
Okay, okay.
stuff like that. And then like in the beginning, like when I was able to go out in the front or go to the window and talk to those people, and those guys when they come back in, I remember their name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we be like, hey, how you doing, Bob? You know?
That makes a big impact in businesses, is that personal touch and creating relationships. Like, you hear that and it's so cliche, but it's so true in business. Like, creating a business relationship with someone and going the extra mile to BS with them, you know, to shoot the stuff with them. I'm trying to watch my language right here.
Right.
But, to, you know, just to have that conversation with them or talk with them, that goes a long way, because that customer is going to tell their friends, and those friends are going to tell their friends, and businesses thrive on referrals. We all know that, but that's a huge part of business is that personal touch. So that's awesome of you to do that.
I know. And I miss that part as well. I miss that part because we're, you know, when we get to events, you know, we're very busy, and you have people would be like, they'll stick out their head in the window, hey, man, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Get back to working.
So speaking of people in Utah not really knowing what Filipino cuisine is, tell us about your guys' food truck. What type of food do you have on your food truck, and what's like your most popular products?
Yeah, so that's like a big thing, because before I met Ben, I never had Filipino food. So it was all new to me to try Filipino food. And so when we were getting started, I was like, you have to really simplify this for people, because like me, I wouldn't know what it is. And so you have to make it. So like on lumpia, which is
what is that? Yeah, you're gonna
like
have to say
egg roll, right?
Okay,
so it's
egg
kind
roll.
of a Filipino egg roll. So I said, just write it out there, say Filipino egg roll.
Yeah.
You know, so that people know what it is. And then we have,
Or even if you use like, you know, quotations or parentheses or something that says, hey, Filipino egg roll.
and then we have sisig, which, and I always tell people it's
Sisig?
like sisig, yeah.
Okay.
And I tell people it's like Filipino pulled pork. It's like an Asian lime. It's got like, how do you describe it? It's got citrus.
Sisig.
Yeah, very citrusy. That's one of our best sellers now, the pork sisig, because we did it in the news. We cooked it in Good Things Utah.
Oh, on live, on TV?
Yeah. So usually in the Philippines, it's made with the face.
Oh, wow.
You know, so they don't throw anything away. So this usually stays, and that's the ingredients for that. But since we're stateside, we actually get a good portion of the meat, and then that's what we use to
Does that pulled pork come on rice, or like how is that served?
And we have it over rice. Everything is over rice. So we do like rice bowls. So then we have sisig, and then we have adobo chicken, which is my favorite right now. I'm like totally on that
So
jam.
we give you guys
so
adobo and sisig.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So when Erin and Ben got here today, they brought us a whole tray of food that's in our other office right now, which I am stoked to go try. Ko is also. I was gonna say, what did you guys bring us? What type of foods do we have over there? So it sounds like we have both of those things.
So like in the beginning, our menu, like we literally have like so much stuff in our menu. Soon to realize that you cannot have 12 things, 12 items that's all cooked differently in one truck. It's just not gonna fit in your fridge. Or if you could fit it, you can have 2, 3, 4 orders per. You know, so that's why we simplify the thing. We got 5 or 6.
We've got fried
items.
shrimp.
Yeah.
Just yummy. People like that. It's like tempura fried shrimp.
Ooh, tempura is always really delicious. So your favorite item's the adobo chicken?
I do like that's my favorite right now.
And what's your favorite item on the menu?
So I like the lechon kawali, which is a fried pork belly.
Ooh, pork belly's so good.
So a lot of American people, they say, ooh, pork belly, I don't want to eat that.
Oh,
And then
shoot,
my
man.
son would always say, have you ever tasted bacon?
Yeah, right?
They were like, yeah, well, it's the same cut of bacon, but thicker, and the skin's still on it. But it tastes a lot better than bacon.
For sure.
And then they're like, okay, let me try it.
Okay, yeah. Let's have a piece of that.
Yeah. But that one is not a lot of restaurant cook it, because you know it has to be served fresh, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's some in Salt Lake that I've had it at, but it's
Not as
not everywhere, you know. It's
This
not.
is not as good as mine.
Of course not as good as yours. We know that. We only bring the best on here. The world
right.
famous
Right.
Yum Yum truck. Yum Yum food truck.
You know, also when we made that name, it's because I was already thinking ahead, you know, because we want to have one in Dubai, you know, Hawaii, you know, things like that. So we don't want to change it later when we start putting trucks all over.
That's one of my questions I was going to ask actually is what's the future of your guys' food truck? Like, where do you guys see you going, or what are your goals? Where do you guys see you next year? Are you going across seas? Are you going across state lines? Like, what's the future of world famous Yum Yum food
I
truck?
think he and I have been talking about moving to Hawaii a little bit together and opening a truck there. And And then we definitely we really want to launch a sauce line, which would be sauces like that we use in the truck. And then, so that way we have those in the stores. But so if we look at like Panda Express's restaurant, that would be great with a drive-through with like a line.
So you guys do want an inline kind of store, like eventually.
Something that's more, I would say, like that. Don't you think? We're still.
Yeah,
we're still planning it out.
A lot of people try to give us their money.
Yeah.
To go open one of those things up, but I figured, if Cup Bob is successful enough, just having trucks, in a couple of restaurants. The restaurant basically serves as a commissary. So I talked to that guy, John, the owner. Yep. Really super cool guy.
Really awesome guy.
Really, really nice. He reached out to us, try to, hey, if you guys, if there's something I could do for you guys, things like that. Amazing dude, But, I think, like, in the future, we want to have, because I do have a lot of cousins all over the world. So Israel, Dubai, Canada, so.
Yep.
It's limitless, I guess.
Truck is that you can move it. If your business, if it's slow, you can move it.
With an inline store, you can't just pack your bags and, hey, guys, let's go try this corner today.
Yeah.
Well, for our listeners listening, we're coming to the end of our podcast now. Where can they find you guys? Where are you guys most active? Where can they get a hold of you? And we'll put these links in the description of the video as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
So where can they find you?
Well, usually...
I know you have a TikTok. I follow you on TikTok.
Yes.
And Instagram.
Yeah, follow you too. Yeah. Instagram, Facebook is a big one too, where we try to put our schedule onto Instagram and onto Facebook.
I guess that's the big one to follow the schedule. So Facebook, Instagram, and what's your handle on there?
On Instagram, it's yum_food truck. And Facebook is world famous Yum Yum Food Truck.
Perfect. We'll link those in the description for you guys. Well, the one last question for you is if there's anything that you wanted to tell the public and our listeners and things like that about Filipino cuisine and your food truck, what would it be?
Well, I think that Filipino food is just so much more different than all the other foods that, that are made, whether it's Chinese food, you got this. Every dish has a different taste, has a different. It's just super yummy, man.
Yeah. I can't wait to try it when I go next door. I'm gonna gobble it down.
To me, like growing up, we always serve big feast every holiday, every birthdays, and things like that. I think the food kind of talks to you. It's kind of like a middle ground for every culture, sharing the food. And especially our food is like, it's never, we don't try to make it too spicy so you can actually enjoy it, but we can if you want us to.
Yeah.
We have sweet, we have, the flavors is just a lot,
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I think it's better than, no, it's not better than, but
it's
good. Pretty good.
Were you going to say it's better than Chinese food? That's what I always tell him. I tell him that in bed. I say, it's so much better than Chinese food. And he's like, oh my gosh, I love you. We're going to get married.
What about you, Erin? If you could tell anybody, to our listeners and the people listening, what would you tell them about your food truck or Filipino cuisine in general?
I feel like I would say that it is... It's healthy. It's a lot less saucier than maybe what some
we're used to in Asian food.
Yeah, we don't put as much sauces. We've got it's kind of, to me, there's so many dishes that remind me of Southern food. I'm from the South. I'm from Georgia. Like the sisig pork reminds me of pulled pork. The adobo chicken reminds me of like kind of a Southern stew, that you have with rice. And there's just, if you really like home cooking, it's kind of got that comfort. It's like a comfort food.
Comfort food.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, guys, get out of your comfort zone. Go try some Filipino food, especially if you're in Salt Lake. Follow these guys on Instagram, Facebook, Yum Yum Food, the world famous Yum Yum Food Truck. Remember, the link's in the description. Thanks for being our guest today. We really appreciate having you guys on here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
I'm so happy we got to hang
Finally.
out. Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's been a long time coming. I'm like,
We want to wish you guys safe travels on your cruise that you guys are going on.
Thank you.
So have fun with that. And guys, we release these every Tuesday. You can always find these episodes on Spotify, Apple. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow. And we will see you next week. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.